who is this fella here in the chat? The faith alone Pharisee. Gay means happy, you worldly retard. Okay. You aren't right with God. There are beasts and dogs. Steven Anderson is a lunatic. He's a stupid sovereign citizen, too. See him get tased in his car like 15 years ago. He's a, there's somebody in Andersonite in here.
Yeah, the reprobate doctrine that people exclude homosexuals, that was formed mainly by Steven Anderson. I don't know if anyone else has come up with that kind of garbage. It's Catholicism light, like some kind of mortal sin or something that you can't be saved from or something.
Right.
It's just some false baloney that he made up, and now people are regurgitating it throughout time since then, that the tongue is like a fire, a deadly poison, set on fire by the course of, sets on fire the course of nature, set on fire by hell. And so, see what a huge forest the little fire kindles. And this is what happens when people say these dumb phrases and the different things like Steven Anderson that's got people, thinking that, if you're gay or something, you can't be saved. It's just, just totally false.
Thanks for your responses, guys. Welcome. Yeah, I'm not sure what he's saying. Let's see here. Yes, that means some of the people in that church were committing some of those sins, not necessarily sodomy. Yeah, so he's got this, he's a potential Andersonite. And so what he's saying is, I guess, if you've committed that sin, that you can't be saved, which means that Christ doesn't save to the uttermost, then that come to God through him, which would be heresy. So the faith alone Pharisee says, we believe serial killers are reprobates too. Man, you're just making stuff up, not for nothing. I'm not trying to be like super combative, but I think there's a verse, 1 Peter 3, maybe, that says, let not any of you suffer as a murderer, right? Why would he say that to a believer? You can't be a believer and a murderer. I mean, I guess you say, well, he didn't mean they were going to kill, 4 people or whatever. But it's like, dude, where do you draw the line? Are we sinners, different from the Jews? No, they're. Or what did Paul say about the Jews? Are we better than they? No, for God has charged both Greek and Jew under sin. So this is tweener stuff, man. Like, this is in between doctrine. You're just making it up.
Yeah, they don't understand the reprobate mind is in relation to the fall, and people in the fall were given over to a reprobate mind where they don't understand spiritual things, and the natural man has to be born again. That's just the Romans 1 is just a collection of a lot of sinful, ungodly attributes of people and how it's exhibited through time and through culture. And they want to say, well, it's just talking about serial killers and homosexuals. I mean, these people are total clowns. They need to stop listening to people like Steven Anderson and stuff like that.
Anderson is a delusional sovereign citizen whack job. That's all he is. He's not stupid, but he's just a wackadoo. He's that guy that you just don't want to get into it with. You're not going to convince him. He's hardened over. He's got his belief system. I say just leave the guy alone. I would want nothing to do with him. So the serial killer doctrine, what's this about? Like, you're not a murderer in your mind, bud. I mean, there's a time in your mind where you hate someone and you don't even realize that you couldn't even help that feeling. And that's already guilt under sin, And of course, in our carnal mind, the one who commits the act, it's obviously it's magnitudes more worse than imagining doing it and not doing it. But that's, Jesus let us know that scripturally sin is in the heart, that's where it stems from, that's where its motives come from. So, and he can charge you for looking with lust, right? But you can't do that in reality, or not reality, but in the world, I should say, right? Like, you can't, no one knows your thoughts but the Lord, right? So he searches the heart. So the Lord knows your heart. So you might be a serial killer at heart. You're still guilty before God. This guy is just looking and sounding like such an idiot. Sorry. So he's saying that this guy, faith alone Pharisee, I mean, maybe he just is a Pharisee. I don't know. He sounds like a typical IFB who he just comes in, talks about gay stuff and sodomites, can't get over it. So he says David committed second-degree murder. What an idiot. The Bible doesn't say anything like that, dude. You're making stuff up. Also, you said something really dumb, that somebody might be saved if they committed murder after believing. So David might be saved. I mean, David knew God from his mother's breast. I mean, this is the type of clownery that you run into with IFB. See you later, pal. Find another live to hang in, because this ain't your place. See ya. Wouldn't want to bite you.
You're coming out of this car one way or the other, and we're going to search this car.
We'll take a look. A Valley preacher says he took a beating at a Border Patrol checkpoint.
But that he did nothing wrong. CBS 5's Steve Filmer is live with more on this man's story. Steve.
Yeah, anybody traveling back along Interstate 8 from California or Yuma will know this Border Patrol checkpoint that's involved in this incident. It is not, though, actually on the border with Mexico.
Broken glass comes flying at me from both sides, and instantly I'm tased from both sides.
His story is vivid. His clothes still stained with blood. Blood Stephen Anderson says poured out of his head and face as he was roughed up by a DPS officer and Border Patrol agents.
I'm sitting here like this, crying for mercy, screaming. Next thing I know, an agent takes my head and shoves it into the broken glass on the side of the window where he had just broken out the window. I can feel the glass shoving into my scalp. And then I'm thrown on the ground next. They're still tasing me throughout this.
Anderson is a preacher at this small Baptist church in Tempe. He says he was stopped at the Border Patrol checkpoint on Interstate 8 Wednesday night. He was riding back to the valley from San Diego.
They slow us down. Everybody goes through the checkpoint. They walk up to the window, begin to ask me questions. Where are you headed? Where are you coming? I didn't answer any questions. They asked me if I'm a U.S. citizen. Okay. I wasn't answering any of their questions, and I was just asking, can I please just go? I just want to go home.
He's told to pull aside. An hour goes by while he sits in his car. DPS arrives to tell him he's under arrest.
He said, our dog alerted us that you either have a human being or drugs in this trunk.
Anderson insists he doesn't have to submit to the search. That, he says, leads to the officers breaking windows, firing tasers.
That was the one that I had trouble pulling out.
Then humiliating him while he's in handcuffs.
And they're laughing at me. Oh, you're not so tough now. You didn't think we were going to search you, huh? And they're laughing at me, they're razzing me, and it's all on those Border Patrol surveillance tapes.
Of course, we are pushing both of these agencies for hard facts about their side of the story. First, with DPS, a spokesman there with DPS tells us, we are investigating our officers' actions. You should also check with the Border Patrol. The Border Patrol spokesman confirms that Anderson was asked to pull aside for an inspection after a search dog alerted to a scent from his vehicle. And then that DPS was called to take over the situation after Anderson stayed in the regular traffic lane for about an hour, and that DPS ultimately took him into custody. The Border Patrol also adds that they do not use tasers as part of their non-lethal arsenal. We are live in downtown Phoenix. I'm Steve Filmer, CBS 5 News.
No homos will ever be allowed on this church as long as I'm the pastor here.